In the previous video, we talked about operators, operands, and expressions. In this video, we'll continue our discussion with operators and we'll see how they can be abbreviated to simplify the code. Very shortly, we'll be transitioning to coding in the IntelliJ IDE, so in the next video or two, I want to continue to prepare you for that environment by using the curly brace feature in JShell. So why use multiple statements in curly braces? First, it's a way to group statements together before executing them. It allows us to put statements on multiple lines, which is more natural and readable. We can execute the group of statements as a whole, which more closely resembles running code in Java. Although putting multiple statements on a single line is allowed in Java, it's not considered best practice for readability of code. I also want you to get used to writing system.out.print statements to view the output. The echo feature, which is part of the read evaluate print loop of JShell, is not a feature that exists outside of JShell itself. Another important restriction when putting coding statements in the curly braces is that we're required to include the semicolon. This will help you get back into the habit of ending every statement with a semicolon in case you've gotten a little sloppy in JShell and been ignoring them. So let's do that. We'll start with a couple of simple statements. We start a group of statements with a left curly brace and hit enter. We declare result to be an int and set it to 1. Here, we'll increment result by 1 by using the plus operator, so result equals result plus 1. We print result out. Finally, we execute the statements above by adding the closing right curly brace and hit enter. Okay, so once again, there shouldn't be any surprises. We'll press the up arrow key in JShell and we'll see all the statements that we typed in the group. Note that doing this lets us edit any line in this group, but first, let's talk about these statements. The variable result started out with a value of 1. We used an expression on the next line, adding 1 to the value in result and reassigning this new value to result. This is a very common way to increment a variable. Now, let's use one of the abbreviating operators, which are sometimes called shorthand operators. Incrementing by 1 is a very common requirement in programming. Obviously, we can do the following. Result equals result plus 1. But we also have two other shorthand ways to do this same thing. The postfix increment operator is represented by plus plus after the variable name. This is a standalone statement and does not require an assignment. The compound assignment operator is represented by plus equals 1 after the variable name. This is also a standalone statement and includes the assignment. So now, while we are in edit mode, we can use the arrow keys to move to the line that contains result equals result plus 1 and change it to result plus plus as we'll do next. Result plus plus, semicolon. So we get the same result, result equals 2. Using this abbreviating operator, known in Java as the postfix increment operator, gives us the same thing as result equals result plus 1. There is another abbreviating operator for decrementing a variable by 1. This one is called the postfix decrement operator and looks the same as the increment operator, except it uses minus signs and not plus signs. Decrementing by 1 is also very common. We can decrement simply by using the equation. Result equals result minus 1. But we also have two other shorthand ways to do this same thing. The postfix decrement operator is represented by minus minus after the variable name. This is a standalone statement and does not require an assignment. The compound assignment operator is represented by minus equals 1 after the variable name. This is also a standalone statement and includes the assignment. So let's use the postfix decrement operator. To use it, we will again use the up arrow key to retrieve our last set of statements, and we'll change the plus plus symbols after result to minus minus on the second statement and hit enter. Minus minus, semicolon. Since we are now decrementing, it should come as no surprise the result is 0. So we've tried out the postfix increment and decrement operators, which allowed us to change a variable either by adding or subtracting by 1. You'll have noticed from the slides that another way was presented, and this was called a compound assignment operator. Again, in JShell, we want to press the up arrow so we can continue to edit the statements we've been using. In this instance, we want to replace result minus minus with result minus equals 1. Result minus equals 1, semicolon. Okay, this one might look a little weird at first, but it's just a shorthand or abbreviated way of writing result equals result minus 1. You'll find that you'll get used to these shorthand operators and will be using them quite often in this course. You can use the compound assignment operator for addition as well. So we'll do that next and go through the same process. We'll press the up arrow key in JShell, and then, while we're in the edit mode, we'll replace minus equals with plus equals in the second statement. Plus equals 1 semicolon. And because we're using addition, this statement result plus equals 1 has the same behavior as result equals result plus 1, and the final result equals 2. Unlike the increment and decrement operators, you can use the compound assignment to do more than increment or decrement by just 1, so let's increment by 5 next. In JShell, we'll press the up arrow and once again change the second statement, changing result plus equals 1 to result plus equals 5. Plus equals 5 semicolon. Now, result equals 6 because we added 5 to the result instead of just adding 1 as before, and result was initialized to 1. As you'd assume, we can decrement by any number we want as well. So let's make this a little more interesting and give you a challenge. Using the code we have been using, either by scrolling up and editing the group of statements or creating a new group of statements. Initialize an int variable named result to the value of 10 rather than 1. Next, use the compound assignment operator with the minus sign to subtract a number from result using a value of your choice. Print the result out using the system.out.print statement. Pause the video now and give that a try on your own. When you're done, start the video again and I'll see you when you get back. Alright, welcome back again. Were you able to successfully subtract a number from result? And if you did you use the compound assignment operator with the minus sign? Let's just walk through that together. So in JShell, we are going to hit the up arrow, which brings up our group of statements from JShell's history and lets us edit any statement in the group. The first thing we'll do is change result equals 1 to result equals 10 in our first statement. Result equals 10 semicolon. Next, in the second statement, we'll subtract 7 from the result using the compound operator. Remember, this is just shorthand for setting the value of result to result minus 7. Minus equals 7 semicolon. This should give us the result equals 3. So that's how you would use the minus compound operator, subtracting an integer value from result. But maybe you were a little more adventurous in your own code. Maybe you decided to subtract a decimal number from result. Let's do that for a bit of fun next. Again, hit the up arrow and we'll edit the second statement. I'll change the value from 7 to 5.5. 5.5 semicolon. What do you think the final result will be? Will this give us an error or give us the result 4.5? What do you think? Okay, so let's hit enter. So the result equals 4. Was that a surprise? I think it might have been, since it still kind of surprises me. Although I've said that this should be the same as the statement, result equals result minus 5.5, actually, it isn't 100% true when you are using incompatible data types. When result is an int, the compound operator assignment, result minus equals 5.5, give us a different result from what we expected, which was result equals result minus 5.5. In fact, the compound operator hides a potential error, the lossy conversion error we've seen several times. Let's examine what I've just said in code in JShell so you have a better understanding. Let's hit the up arrow to get into edit mode for this group of statements, then we'll change that second line to what is generally assumed to be its replacement, result equals result minus 5.5. Result equals result minus 5.5 semicolon. Executing this code gives us the error possible lossy conversion from double to int. Maybe this is what you thought the compound minus operator would have given us, but didn't. Let's hit the up arrow again and now manually cast to an int as we've done before using int in parentheses. But I'm also going to need to put the equation in a set of parentheses, which I'll do here. Here I have to cast to an int, but I need to cast the entire result of the equation, so I enclose it in parentheses as well. What would have happened if I didn't put parentheses around the equation? Well, think about that for a minute. Java would have assumed we were only casting the variable result to an int, and we still would have gotten the same possible lossy conversion error. So now let's press enter. And here our result is 4 again, as it was when we first used the compound minus operator. The compound assignment operator, x minus equals y, is often said to be x equals x minus y, but that's not entirely true if y is not the same data type as x. X minus equals y is really x equals data type of x, x minus y. An implicit cast is done when using this operator, so no error occurs, but unexpected results may occur. So summarizing for our own sample of code, result minus equals 5.5 is really result equals int result minus 5.5. That might be a lot to take in right now, but what I really wanted to do with this example is encourage you to experiment. Never take a simple code segment for granted. Even something as simple as this challenge can be explored, changed, and retested, and can enhance your understanding of the Java language. So, how do we actually get the result to be 4.5 using the compound minus operator if that's what we really wanted? Let's make another change. Again, we arrow up, and this time change the data type for the variable result from an int to a double in the first statement. I'll set this back to the compound minus operator. And now our result equals 4.5. Since our variable is now the same data type as the value being subtracted using the compound assignment operator, we don't require any implicit casting, and the result is what you'd expect. Okay, so that was your challenge. I hope you found that interesting and a bit surprising. So finally, we have two more compound assignment operators to get through for multiplication and division, so let's do that real quick for the sake of completeness. In JShell, we use the up arrow and change the second statement from result minus equals 5.5 to result star equals 1.5. We also want to make sure that the variable result has a double data type. Since we changed that previously, we should not have to change it, but just check that that is so. Result star equals 1.5 semicolon. And now the result equals 15.0, which is 10 times 1.5. And finally, for division, going through the same process, we use the up arrow and change the second statement from star equals 1.5. Let's change that to divided equals 1.5. Divide equals 1.5 semicolon. Remember, this operator generally means the same thing as result equals result divided by 1.5 when data types are compatible. Now our result equals 6.66666 and so on. This looks like another case of a repeating decimal, and we can see that using a double gives us a great deal of precision in the result. Alright, so let's finish the video here. In this video, we've covered several different types of abbreviating or shorthand operators. The abbreviating operators we've discussed so far are the postfix increment operator, the postfix decrement operator, the addition compound assignment operator, the subtraction compound assignment operator, the multiplication compound assignment operator, and finally the division compound assignment operator. There are others, but these are generally the most commonly used. We'll be revisiting the increment and decrement operators again in more detail, since these are used quite often to facilitate looping. We'll explore them more, as well as a few additional shorthand operators as we get more experienced as the course progresses. In this video, we were able to revisit previously discussed topics as well, such as casting, floating point precision, and data type conversion errors. In the next video, we're going to continue exploring more operators, but to do that, we need to first talk about the if-then statement. We'll also be moving to IntelliJ as promised and start using the benefits of a fully integrated development environment. So I'll see you in the next video.